Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. Welcome to my YouTube channel, right here on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. We're also streaming live simultaneously as well on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page. Make sure you stop by and give that a thumbs up. We've got articles, podcasts, memes, jokes, and all kinds of things. And you kind of need some of that when you are the New York Jets. And now they have been eliminated from playoff contention. So we'll talk about that as well here on the show. Remember, guys, wherever you're watching, wherever that happens to be, make sure you do a couple of things for me real quick. First off, on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button on the video. We give you New York Jets content all day, every day. We appreciate it. Also, hit that subscribe button as well. Wherever you're watching, drop in the comments. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We'll get to all your comments on this post-game show every single week. We come to you live moments after the New York Jets wrap up their game for a live post-game show. And this is a show of the people. So I want to hear from you guys what you want to vent about, things you liked, things you hated. Make sure, again, you go to the comment section wherever you're watching, whether, again, that's Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. StreamYard will put it in a nice little pocket for me so we can all talk about it. And one final note, you see it on the scrolling ticker down below. Follow me on all social media at BoyGreen25, B-O-Y, green the color, 25. And again, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Well, another loss for the Jets, and as you see in the title of this video, the Jets are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Not surprising. Once they clinched their sixth losing season in a row last week, it seemed inevitable, a mere formality, but it is now official. Obviously, the Jets have been eliminated from playoff contention. And really, for the 11th straight year, in some sense, and I've talked about this on my podcast, again, the Jet Zone, but I got to tell you guys is that, sometimes the AFC Championship runs feel like yesterday, and at other times they feel like 1,000 years ago. And I know that's not exactly on this current regime of Joe Douglas, who's here, or Robert Sala's in his first year, but man, to not be involved, as we're not even at Christmas yet, obviously, already being eliminated from playoff contention. I want this team to be in the hunt. I want this team to be in the mix. And unfortunately, it just hasn't happened. But I imagine next year there's going to be this do or die line. I don't know if Woody Johnson will come out and lay a playoff mandate or something of that nature. But this team should be in the hunt graphic on your TV screen. They should be competing because think about it. They're going to have the draft picks. Obviously, they keep losing now, so their own picks are going to be pretty good. Carolina lost, so that pick's going to be pretty good. I know Seattle blew the barn doors off Houston, but even still, these picks are going to be very good. It's going to be up to Joe Douglas to do that. Also, $50+ million in cap space. So all of that here on the show. Again, the Jets lose to the New Orleans Saints. Lose this one officially on the scorecard, by the way, 30-9. But here's the even greater thing here is that, quite frankly, the Jets have allowed 30 points in 6 of their last 8 games defensively. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been great. And just really on this game in general, a couple of positives. I'll start off with positives here, folks. Zach Wilson today was his first NFL game where he did not commit a turnover. #progress. I know the stats aren't great. We'll read those to you in a second. But the first NFL game where Zach Wilson did not commit a turnover, and he only has 2 interceptions in the last 4 games. So nice progress there from Zach Wilson. I will say this. Obviously, Zach missed a lot of throws today. Obviously, he was far from perfect. There's just no question about it. But I would say that part of some of his struggles, to be blunt, have to be that he's playing with this ho-hum group of receivers, unfortunately. Here are the official stats for Zach Wilson. 19 of 42 for 202 yards, 4.8 a clip. That's gross, a 59.8 QBR. And he was the leading rusher on this team, 4 rushes for 33 yards. Some of that in Garbaggio time here at the end of the game. But regardless, again, Zach Wilson didn't commit a turnover. That's great. Zach Wilson only has 2 interceptions in his last 4 games. Again, more progress there from Zach Wilson. But I think part of his struggles, quite frankly, DJ Montgomery, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole. I mean, for Pete's sake, we didn't see it. It just was non-existent. It was irrelevant. And I will tell you that I ate it, and I'm going to take another L right now. A couple weeks ago, I predicted, I think it was the Eagles game actually. Before the game, I said Zach Wilson will throw his first touchdown pass to Elijah Moore. That hadn't happened this year for a variety of wild circumstances. But I said he's going to get 2 touchdowns or whatever I said. Or he's going to, no, I think, I only said he's going to get 1 touchdown like in the first couple seconds or whatever I said. He ends up getting the touchdown immediately. So I was getting froggy. I'm like, well, Denzel Mims has never had a touchdown before. He's going to get 2 today. Well, I don't even think he ended up with a catch. So not great there on Denzel Mims. So I do want to talk about him as well. We'll get into all that in just a little bit. Let's jump into the comments. All right. So again, wherever you're watching, again, guys, drop your comments in Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Doesn't matter. Drop them wherever you are and on StreamYard. They'll line them up for me. I'll bring them up on the show. Again, we're a show of the people. Let's go over to Facebook. We got Jacob Brendan chiming in. Zach is not it. Sorry, Jacob. I can't understand anyone who has this kind of take, to be honest with you. Zach Wilson didn't commit a turnover. He only has 2 interceptions in his last 4 games. He was playing with absolute trash. Ty Johnson had 3 drops. I mean, those are drive killers. Drive-killing drops. So Ty Johnson had a bunch of drops. DJ Montgomery had drops. I mean, just drop. I mean, what are you supposed to do? There was just too much nonsense around him. So, quite frankly, I think that's a terrible take, Jacob. I'm going to be honest. I'm cool with people having different opinions. Come on down, baby. But, Jacob, you're not it. I am sorry from that. Let's go. Whoop, sorry, skipped one here. Let me go back here in order. Young Dez, 83. Jets need help from wideout. No question. So you had Corey Davis. He's out for the season. We found that out earlier this week. Elijah Moore. Oh, no. Late news on Saturday that took us all in a glass box of emotion. Elijah Moore on IR, out a minimum of 3 games, including this one. So 2 more games minimum, if not more. And we only had 5 games on the docket prior to the Saints game. So now we only have 4 left. The time is dwindling. So what a Debbie Downer there. So the Jets are playing with a bunch of randos, quite frankly, at wide receiver. It's not as bad as it was like in 2020 where Jeff Smith is your number 1, but still. Not great. So 100%, I think the Jets need another wide receiver in free agency or another wide receiver in the draft. Maybe a Christian Kirk from Arizona. Maybe you go Jameson out of Alabama, get some speed to the equation, perhaps, but they need another wide receiver. I mean, all of these injuries just speaks to it. You can never have enough depth at wideout. Let's go to Brian. Howdy. Thanks for joining us on YouTube again, Brian and everybody else. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and give us a big subscribe button. We appreciate it for all the support. So, hey, Brian, how you doing? Let's go over to Braden. I missed the second half. How'd Mimsy go? Well, not good, Braden. I'm going to be blunt. Denzel Mims had a couple of penalties at the end of the first half. Not great, but in the second half, it just didn't happen. I don't know, man. I will be honest, I'll take my L. I started Denzel Mims in fantasy in an important league. It's not like nothing was going on. You know, I'm playing for a bye week in the playoffs. I think I'm going to end up still winning the matchup. But still, I mean, the point is that I put Denzel Mims, my trust in him. And as I wrote in an article for Heavy.com, I am also the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Wrote a piece earlier this week, said it's do or die for Denzel Mims. And based on that performance, it is a lot of die. Man, he refuses to make an impact. It is tough. All right, let's go to Jacob. What's up from Kingsport, Tennessee? What's up, Jacob? I love it. Show the support. Love it on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page live stream. Love it. So what's up from Kingsport, my buddy? I love Tennessee. Beautiful. I was this close to moving to Tennessee a couple years ago. Fun fact. All right, let's stay on Facebook. Let's jump over to Calvin Hicks. I watched this team for years. It hurts, SMH. I remember the back-to-back AFC Championship games, but that's it. We need change. No question, Calvin. I miss those days, too. The Indianapolis game, the Pittsburgh game, winning playoff games, being relevant, the NFL power rankings, being on top of those. I took those for granted. I thought the Jets were here to stay, but obviously not. It's been rough. I've been watching them for years too, man. And I remember all those good times, but we need to make new good times. And I will be optimistic about a lot of the toys they have in the offseason to try to upgrade that unit. Let's go to Ryan Balake on YouTube. Nowhere. Mims was done. Mims is done. He's going to probably get opportunities because, again, Corey Davis out for the year. Elijah Moore's out for a minimum of the next 2 games. Jeff Smith was on the COVID list. Who knows there? I don't know his vaccination status. So, boy, I mean, he's probably going to get opportunities similar to Ty Johnson in this game because they had nobody else. Ty Johnson had 3 drops. I was like, bench his ass. Terrible. and really stunting the flow of the offense. But, again, because of lack of bodies, he's probably going to get more opportunities, at the very least be on the field. But I agree. It seems like he is done. All right, let's go to the refs are blind, but fucking ugly. Too many drops. Yeah, it was gross. And again, to me, part of those early drives when Ty Johnson has a couple of drops and this and this and this, and by the time Zach Wilson finally can rely on a receiver, sometimes he missed a throw here or there. So I'm not completely absolving Zach Wilson. But I mean, Jesus, help a brother out for Pete's sake. That was one of my big criticisms coming off this game. Where is the help? When all these receivers are out, what you're supposed to do is help out your young quarterback, whether on defense, get a turnover, create a short field. That didn't happen, obviously. And Taysom Hill the week before threw 4 picks against the Cowboys defense. Defense, where the heck are you? And then go to offense, people dropping balls all over the place. How the hell is Zach Wilson supposed to get into a rhythm? It's impossible. So, man, a real struggle. It was absolutely disgusting. All right, let's go to the next comment here. This is Janice Fairchild on Facebook, and he stopped short when running and could have gotten a first down himself. Not sure who you're referencing, but either way, yeah, we had, like, the end of the game in particular, there was that 1 4th and 7 call. They ran like a curl for 6. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on there? And so that one was weird. So some weirdness there from LaFleur. I guess you get to the end of the game, not really sure what's happening there. Let's go back to Balake. On YouTube, not having Davis and Moore out there, the chemistry was off the entire game. That, again, that's part of the reason I can attribute some of the mistakes from Zach Wilson to his receivers. He throws it, and a receiver runs left. He thought he was running right, and then it's kind of doinks off the ground. Again, Zach Wilson missed throws. He was caught on camera, and excuse my language, turn off your thing if you don't want to hear it, but Zach Wilson had this nice lateral throw where Braxton Berrios on a motion came behind him, snapped the ball, quick throw out, supposed to get him with blockers, kind of like a pop screen action, and he kind of dirts the ball, kind of skips to him like a rock across the pond, and then the camera goes to Zach Wilson's face. He goes, fuck me. So he missed throws. Again, I'm not absolving Zach Wilson. I can't say that enough, but again, some of those issues, the chemistry, yike-a-roonies. There was some bad there. All right, let's. This one I can't bring up, Jacob, because it's just too long of a comment, but I'll read it here. We have this coming up as well, Jacob Brendan. LOL, I am it, Paul. But in all seriousness, I get the guy had a depleted wide receiving core today, but he missed a whole lot of passes. Even the announcers noted he missed layups. He's making the same mistakes. He's been making mistakes since week 1. No progress, even with Davis, Moore, and Crowder are on the field. Let's call a spade when we see one, please. Jacob, again, if Zach Wilson isn't the guy, I have no problem calling it out. And again, he missed throws. But I just feel like with the lack of weapons and how everything's set up, he had a solid enough game. Again, he didn't turn the ball over. That's what you like. He made some nice throws. He missed throws too. Not perfect, not great, but I thought he was good, just solid. And again, the cutting back the turnovers for me is big. Look around the league. Okay, if you think I'm being too light on Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, a horrible pick of the Titans game. Look at Justin Fields. Look at these other rookie quarterbacks. I feel like Zach Wilson's being held to a different standard than some of these other guys. Look around the league. Look at those stats. Watch that tape. I'm telling you, man, I think it is way too early to judge whether he is or isn't the guy. I thought, quite frankly, it was a solid outing from that perspective. Let's go. Momo. Hey, guys, first time. I'm sick again. Yeah, Momo, just so you know, and anyone else who's watching, we do this every single week where we're streaming live simultaneously at 3 different places. The Heavy on Jets Facebook page. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. So when you're reading articles, most of the time that's mine or my partner, Michael Obermuller. So it's one of us. You can check on the tagline when you click articles. So it's nice to meet you, the fans. So thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it. Again, another quick reminder, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. I know it takes a few seconds. I know we have a bunch of people in the room. Take a few seconds to hop over there. It means the world. And also that thumbs up button on YouTube. Show us that you like the content we're putting out. I'd really appreciate it. You're sick again, and I see why. Let's go back to Momo. The throws were all terrible. Well, they weren't all terrible, but I get you, Momo. There's a lot of sloppiness out there. A lot of sloppy Joe served up by the cafeteria lady. Very sloppy, very gross. But defense didn't really help. Again, the running game, they allowed to get run up the wazoo. Points, boy, it just not a great outing from the defense either. The offense is gross too. So a little bit of everything everywhere. All right, let's throw to Ryan Balake. These injuries have been absolutely crushing all year. Do you think we were dealing with strength and conditioning issues for the team? It feels like we cannot stay healthy. Ryan, I heard this topic of conversation. I'll put this away for a second. I heard that topic of conversation over the last couple of days. Personally, no, I don't believe so. I mean, it is wild. You look over the last couple of years, but if you go back to 2016, 2017, they barely had any injuries. So I think there is a little bit of a luck factor here. Again, I think you could analyze that at a deeper level for like soft tissue injuries and how they're being worked in practice and stuff like that. But when you look at the wide variety of injuries you're getting, like for instance, the torn Achilles of both Carl Lawson and Marcus May, that's just crappy luck, quite frankly. That just sucks to suck. The quad injury for Elijah sucks. That's just kind of random. Corey Davis in the groin, he said he was good. He re-aggravates in the game. Again, that's just kind of crappy luck there. So I don't believe it is any greater issue than that. Mekhi Becton, the jersey I'm wearing, obviously. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the show, but he's another guy that, again, the injuries are just really unfortunate. Anyone who would have been in Mekhi Becton's position week one would have been injured. So, again, it's just kind of crappy luck from that perspective. Let's go back to Momo here. Zach Wilson dancing and throwing off 1 foot, no poise. I would say, yeah, there were moments where Zach Wilson's kind of going, and that's a part of it, obviously, with the practices and working behind the scenes to make sure he lines up. Again, what you're supposed to do from a quarterback's perspective is, again, line up your quarterback and line up your feet, quite frankly, to where you're throwing, and also kind of square up and get your shoulders and everything aligned properly so it's more natural. Again, Zach Wilson has the ability on occasion off 1 foot just to kind of throw because he's got such God-given talent, but you want it from a consistent standpoint to go by the fundamentals. Okay. And Momo, this is an astute observation. Let's bring this one up. Now we know why Mims is not playing. This was an unfortunate truth. Obviously, there's a lot of free Mims fans out there and fans going wild. Maybe the Jets coaching staff does know what they're doing. Denzel Mims had lining up in the wrong place last week. This week, drops and penalties and stupid stuff. So, it sucks because he showed promise in his first year. This is stunning, befuddling, wild. I don't know really what else to say from that perspective, but it's tough, man. It's tough, Momo. Absolutely tough. It's hard to explain, quite frankly. All right, let's go to Edwin on Facebook. What do we need to do to have a winning season? That's an excellent question. We haven't had one since, off the top of my head, 2015, the 10-6 year, and we missed the playoffs that year, but we had a winning year. I think it's a right combination of injury luck. Obviously, the Jets were boned this year. You talk about Carl Lawson, Corey Davis, Mekhi Becton, Elijah Moore, Tyler Kroft, Michael Carter. Zach Wilson at one point obviously was out for a month. Vinny Curry. Jared Davis. I mean, we're going off all these. I mean, it is an unbelievable number. So you need an injury luck factor. You need the right schedule. You need the right momentum. There's a million items that go into it, quite frankly. And having the right attitude. There's a coaching. I think all these guys being in their second year is going to help. Again, Michael LaFleur being in his second year, I think he's really progressed very nicely over the course of the season. Again, getting more talent on that defense. I think it's mostly a talent problem as opposed to a coaching issue. So get pass rushers, get linebackers, get safeties. And speaking of safeties, real quick, I don't like to be prisoner of the moment, but Ashton Davis may be one of the worst tacklers I've ever seen in my life. What in God's green earth was he doing on that sideline play where he kind of and can't even get the tackle? Ashton, what are you doing, man? Profile. Wrap up, man. Wrap up. What are you doing? So, man, Ashton Davis is like on highlight reels. He's running behind the guy that's scoring a touchdown. He's missing tackles, missing coverage assignments. Ashton Davis. I love this athletic piece of clay coming out of Cal. And I said, oh, what an interesting selection by the Jets. Remember, they had the overloading safeties with Jamal and Marcus May. They're like, wow, what are they thinking here? And they had this cool athletic piece of clay who's raw but so talented and got into football late. But, man, it's just disgusting to watch. He misses tackles. He gets run over. He got trucked by Alvin Kamara earlier in this game. I just don't get it. He seems like a bust there. And, man, the safety position, yikes. If you want to call Elijah Riley a starter next year, maybe. Ashton Davis, yikes. Doesn't look like it. Marcus Mays, a pending free agent. Oh, boy. LaMarcus Joyner, pending free agent. I don't know what's happening there. Don't know what's happening there. All right, let's go to Balake. on YouTube, our defense played well enough to keep us in the game in the first half, but we're still not capable to sustain drives offensively, especially when you're dropping the ball. So that's the rare combination, right? So the defense plays pretty well for the majority of the game in the first half. To the second half, things start getting leaky. That's also when the offense, in theory, was going to start picking up and drops and all kinds of nonsense, man. Brutal penalties. Boy, I mean, it was just a combination of everything. So, yeah, I agree. In the first half, it looked like, oh, boy, defense setting us up here very nicely, but unfortunately, just not the case. Just not the case. Okay, let's go to the refs are blind. The draft is going to have a defense heavy. The amount of points against us is astronomical. It absolutely is. I mentioned the stat earlier, but I'll mention again. For the sixth time in the last 8 games, Jets have given up 30 points or more defensively after this one, so terrible. I think it will be heavy on defense. See what I did there? Heavy on Jets Reporter, heavy on defense. I'll be here all week. But anywho, I agree. I think it is going to be defensively influenced. Hopefully that's a pass rusher at the top of the draft. Again, we'll start doing mock draft Mondays on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. So again, another reminder to hit the subscribe button there. We'll be doing that after the season. So every Monday I have a draft guest on. We'll talk on mock draft, all that fun stuff for all you draft fans out there. So keep an eye out for that. But I do envision defense, pass rusher, off-ball linebacker, corner, safety, everything, quite frankly, is on the table. Okay, let's go. Momo, we need time to see if this Denzel Mims experiment is going to work middle of next year. We should know. Well, maybe. The fact of the matter is, we'll see if he survives. I think in the offseason, there's a lot of buzz around the trade deadline. Teams are interested. I still think, even despite what's happened here, teams are going to be interested. They're going to see the talent. They're going to say, we can fix that. That's normally the thought process of other teams. So we'll see the compensation. I imagine he's dealt. Quite frankly, in the offseason. I imagine that is really, really going to be the case, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there. All right, back to Ryan here. Right, agreed. We need to have our first 4 picks, where 3 of them need to be defense-related, along with getting a couple of key free agents as well. Yeah, the free agency being before the draft is interesting because how you attack that will set up the draft. I'm a guy who likes filling as many holes as possible in free agency, and then you provide yourself ultimate flexibility in the draft. But I agree. I'd probably go 3 of the first 4. Again, you have 2 first, Jets, Seattle, 2 second. There's Carolina's. I'd probably be 3 of 4 defense, and then maybe the other pick is wide receiver. I'd like to see another wide receiver here, or tight end if the right tight end was there as well. So one of those 2 for sure, Ryan. And I will catch up on that, Momo. After we get off the live stream, I'll catch up on all the Salah stuff. If you want like highlights and clips and stuff, I'll put that out on my Twitter account. So I do not see it live because I immediately jump over here. Let me go to the other news. We haven't talked about this yet. Quinnen Williams, obviously, he goes down. He's holding his shoulder. And all of us, again, with all the injuries I just talked about, are like, oh, God, no, not another injury. And he laid on the ground for a while, got immediate medical assistance, went straight to the locker room, didn't look good. He wasn't really moving his arm. I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go. He was able to come back in the second half. They put some extra padding. We'll have to see specifically what that injury is. I imagine, even though Salah's speaking right now, and I don't know, if one of you guys see it, feel free to jump in the comments. I don't believe we'll get a full analysis on that until Monday's presser to hear more on Quinnen. But he did come back in the game, so that's an encouraging sign. He got some extra padding, a little bit of a harness on that bicep shoulder area. So good that he came back in the game. And boy, he was obviously hurting. A couple of times the camera got him when he slammed down on that same shoulder. He was grimacing in pain, apparent and obvious pain. And he stayed out there for his guys in the middle of a game that seemed to be over from the scoreboard, but he didn't care. So I really like that. And yes, let's go to the good news, Balake. On to positive news, we may have a decent kicker, Eddie Pinheiro. 3 for 3. Amen, I'll take it. Thank God. Finally. So a guy that hadn't kicked basically in 2 years, they pick up, and he's the guy. Phenomenal. Give him a lifetime contract. Put him in the Hall of Fame. I love it. Eddie Pinheiro. Beautiful. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Beautiful. Love to see it. Love to see it. That was great, Ryan. That was great. And, hey, Jet fans will take what they could get, quite frankly. Let's go to the refs are blind again on YouTube. Again, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We need serious defensive help. There's some nice pieces, but they're still allowing a lot of points per game. Yeah, a couple of pieces that I like, obviously. Quinnen. I like his brother Quincy quite a bit. Bryce Hall, obviously. CJ Mosley, he's going to be back, obviously, because of the contract. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other guys like Foley and, Sheldon Rankins, who I like, and a couple of those pieces. And plus, you're getting Carl Lawson back, who's kind of like an extra addition because you didn't really have him this year. So there are some nice pieces, but need more talent. Just keep dumping talent in there. And Philippe, we just talked about it, but yes, we do have a kicker. Eddie Pinheiro, baby. He was beautiful. He was beautiful. Absolutely. All right, let's go to Balake. By the way, Paul, when do you think we'll have back-to-back wins again? Also, what do we need to be able to lift this curse on this franchise? First off, back-to-back wins actually happened last season. No Jet fans wanted it, I guess, with the Rams and Browns win back-to-back. So we did have that last season, but when is it going to happen again? So let's see. The final four, we've got Tampa, Buffalo. I'm going out of order, I understand. So you got Tampa, Buffalo, Miami, and I'm missing one more in there. But, Lily, I don't know. That's a great question. When are we going to get that, if at all, this season? I'm missing one more. I can't remember what the other one is. So you have Buffalo, you have Tampa, you have Miami. And let's see. I got the schedule right here. What's the other one we have for the Jets? That's escaping me. Jacksonville. That should be fun with Urban Meyer. So we have those four. But think about it. Out of those four, Jacksonville, you can win. They look god awful. They look absolutely terrible. But besides that, boy, I don't know. Good question. I don't know. I guess we'll keep an eye out on that one, but did not feel great. Also, to your second question, what do we need to do to be able to lift this curse on this franchise? I think belief. There's a coach that came in at Syracuse. It hasn't really worked out well so far, but he had this saying where he says, faith is belief without evidence. For me, I am an optimistic person, so that kind of helps me. Every year, no matter how crappy it is, I'm able to wipe the slate clean and kind of have this fresh and open perspective on what's going to happen again with picks and free agency and just optimism, quite frankly, that they're going to be able to figure it out. I like Salah a lot. I think he's a great coach. We'll see, obviously, on the field. Great, that adjective can sometimes be thrown around a little too often. But quite frankly, I do like Robert Saleh. Douglas obviously has to win. If the Jets are once again in this, whatever they are, 3-10 now, if they're in this 3-10 hole next year, he's getting fired. So they need to win. They need to be competitive. No question about it. So what do we have to do to lift the curse? Just keep hitting that rock. I think continuity is key. While I wrote an article last week about potentially moving on from Ulbrich and his struggles, obviously they don't have the talent. So the most, apt thing to do would probably be keep continuity. Ulbrich, give him another chance with more talent. If he still sucks, then you move on. But I think it's just, again, you probably won't like this comment, but trust the process. That's really it. Let's go to Thomas McQueen. What a great last name. I believe we would win 6 games this year, be good against a run, and Zach Wilson would make steady progress. But these injuries. Yeah, same thing. I said the ceiling for this Jets team, and you guys can make fun of me, was 10-7. Again, I'm an optimist. If everything broke right, and I thought the offense was going to progress faster than the defense. That's what I thought. Well, it didn't look that way at the beginning. It looks more that way now. 6 games looks tough. Again, with 4 games to go to win 3 of the final 4. I know, but you're saying this before the year, obviously. I think they could get Jacksonville because Jacksonville's a dumpster fire. You better hope you get Jacksonville. And then the other ones, it all depends. Miami's playing for playoffs. So is Buffalo and Tampa Bay. It's going to be tough. But again, just keep the vision in the future. Zach making steady progress. That's what he's done. They're terrible against the run, but the injuries, I think, are obviously a factor. I'm not trying to make up excuses because they've been terrible, but boy, not great. Jacksonville, thanks for that. Refs are blind. It is Jacksonville. And then, as you said, Momo, the tackling was goddamn terrible. Absolutely god-awful. There was just missing pieces all over the place, a lack of consistency from that standpoint, and quite frankly, it was really hard to stomach. So the tackling was just god-awful. It was miserable, and we're going to get a lot more of that here. Jets are inept as hell. They certainly look that way, Block. No question about it. And then Mitch, of course, making his appearance on all these post-game shows. Miserable. That's what it was. It was another miserable, kind of slow, ugly game, and not great. Let's go through some final notes and quotes here before we sign off. The Jets again are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Elijah Moore to IR. Disappointing news, certainly, and a bummer news coming last second. Mekhi Becton, when is he going to return? Will we see him? Obviously, he didn't play in this game. Only 4 games left on the docket. A lot of people have questioned whether or not he'll come back this season. I'll have an article up on that either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, on the Mekhi Becton situation. Some new scoops coming in today on that. Ty Johnson, again, the drops. Dude, like, what are you doing? He tied Jericho Cotchery back in 2007. I love Jericho, but apparently he tied Jericho Cotchery, according to ESPN stats and information, for the most drops by a single player in a single game in Jets franchise history, with 3 tying Jericho Cotchery. Disgusting. Also, this was the 5th time 2 BYU quarterbacks were facing off in the NFL. Taysom Hill wins that one. And I will also say just some problems from this game in general. People slipping and sliding, not great. Some Wilson misses. The defense not creating turnovers. And probably the biggest thing we hadn't really talked about yet are the separation issues. Where the hell is the separation from the wide receivers to present windows for your young quarterback? Those were non-existent. And no separation. No one seemed open out there. So Zach Wilson has to hold it or hitch for an extra couple of seconds or extra couple of moments, and booyah, sack, or this player, that player, this play, that play. I mean, absolutely god-awful. So another struggle from that perspective. And everybody, that will about do it here for the Jets post-game show. Again, Jets lose. They drop to 3-10. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Another double-digit losing season is now confirmed. But, folks, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in every week, whether you're new or old. We do these post-game shows after every single Jets game, win or loss or tie. It doesn't matter. We're always here. We're here for you. We are a show of the people. Please, wherever you're watching, stop what you're doing right now. Take a few seconds to like the page, Heavy on Jets. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button, and hell, on Twitter, give me a follow for all kinds of New York Jets content. That's all you get is Jets content, nothing else for your pie holes, your ear holes. All Jets content all day, every day. So thank you so much, everybody. Love doing this with you guys every week. And like I said, once we get to the offseason, we're going to have mock draft Mondays. We're going to have free agency speculation, celebrity guests, and, of course, Boy Green myself. And we're going to have each and every one of you, and hopefully a great couple of months here so we can turn this thing around. But there's still season to go. And like I said, we'll be back for the post-game stream, and we'll have another video up this week previewing the next opponent for the New York Jets. All right, everybody, that's going to do it here for Boy Green on the post-game show. We'll see you on social media. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your